グリザイアの果実。
Bonjour Watcher, this is Johnny Banger 45 and welcome back to the Fruit of Grisaia. Yes my friend, in the last episode, it's a very long one, So we have started to enter the middle of the story, so don't expect the early finish, yes, don't expect the early finish, this is very long one. It became impossible for me to look people in the eyes when I spoke. I was never good at holding lengthy conversations, but my response grew shorter with every passing days. By the end, I was barely speaking at all. Even though my suffering might have been slightly meaningful if those Spartan lessons had produced results, but no matter how I tried to please my tormentors, it never improved my evaluations. My father dismissed the tutors in 1 or 2s over my terrible results until none remained. They cursed me to my face before they went. Some even spat on the floors of my room before stalking out.
Michiru? 何か嫌なことはあったかい？
何もない。
そうか。まあ、勉強や習い事なんてできなくていいさ。健康に育ってくれれば、それだけでパパは満足だぞ。
I feel sorry for her parents. Because she's the only child, but I was unable to fulfill even that modest hope. On my walks around the garden, I would sometimes find myself painfully short of breath, clutching my throbbing chest. Hey, it's the same hospital. My parents grew concerned. Eventually, they brought me to a big hospital for examination. And then I was diagnosed with a serious heart disease. The doctor made this continue to lead a normal life outside of the hospital would necessitate significant restriction of my activities. From now, I had to refrain from vigorous exercise.
穏やかに無理をせず過ごしなさい。そうでないと取り返しのつかないことになるよ。
Irreversible turn for the worst. Let me guess. The other girl, Ariff. I couldn't study or play the piano. I was never much of an athlete. Even talking with people was a struggle. And now I became an invalid who couldn't even live a normal life. As I watched my friend's face filled with disappointment, a thought occurred to me. Oh, look at that. My tutors were right all along. They told me I was a stupid, useless person who didn't even deserve to live, and they were wrong. And must I say it hundreds of times, why did I figure this out earlier? Of course they beat me. It's only natural to treat garbage like garbage. Thinking that way made me feel a little better. I was stupid to even try to answer my parents' expectations. I was a cut out for that from the start. Their thought freed me from my burdens. They also wiped away the meaning of my existence. So my parents had lost all hope in me and devoted their nights to producing a new child. Their previously frequently visits to my rooms grew rare, and the time I spent alone increased. Oh my! This time their parents abandoned her. In Sakaki's case, father betrayed her. Her mother left. My room was always cold. I kept the curtains shut throughout the day. Little by little, I felt myself slipping away from the outside world. Nothing I did turned out right. Well, of course it didn't. I was defective from the start. Clumsy and awkward as I was, I still found the one and only thing I was good at. Letting time roll past in empty, uneventful silence. I would sit quietly in the corner of my room, not budging a millimeter all day, simply drawing breath. That alone became something of my specialty of mine. Even a Moloch at the bottom of the sea probably could beat me at staying still. That was all I had left to be proud of. I continued to live like a clam, but biologically speaking, I was a human being. My body grew larger little by little, and in time I stopped being a child. I was no longer allowed to shut myself up in my room doing nothing. I had to go to the place called school. The little mermaid who lived at the bottom of the sea couldn't speak the human tongue very well. By the same token, I couldn't really communicate with the other students. It didn't help that I was a clam, not a beautiful princess. Everyone around me could live a normal life. I invade them from the bottom of my heart. I couldn't study or make friends. Moving around a little would get my heart screaming like a pain. Just keep myself breathing about was all I could manage. At first, a number of classmates made an effort to draw me out of my solitude. But I didn't know what to say to them. Most of the time, I just nodded my head, yeah, with stiff expression on my face. Inevitably, the people who approached me gradually gave up. Eventually, the class came to operate as if I wasn't there. That was kind of a relief in a way. Nobody expected anything from me, so I couldn't disappoint anyone. Yes, I thought I was made of air. Even in school, I could return to my life as a clam. I thought that was just fine, not bad at all. My parents made sure I went to school regularly, probably thinking I do at least have to communicate with other people there, but it was rare for me to go an entire day without speaking a single word. Even when the teachers took attendance, they just glare in my direction, not bother to call my name. Damn, son. As my free time increases, I began to think pretty regularly about the point of my own existence, or rather, the pointlessness. Why was I going to school? Why was I even alive? I considered the question as some lengthy. Watching for fun as my classmates laughed together and class chatted enthusiastically about television. Sometimes I would have to fight down the urge to burst into tears. They were so close, but I was separated from them by an insurmountable wall. Even a trash can is useful to others. I was just taking up space. Why was I born in the first place? My parents had given me a cell phone saying I don't probably need it as a student. There was a single message or call record in the history log. The memory was clear, pure white. Therefore, must I be lighter than anyone else? It was empty inside. Unless I keep a firm grip on it, it probably float out into the air, get back at some passing bird, and disappear with a pop. I want to die. In the end, that was my only conclusion. A year passed in that school, and then two, and that was my only constant rock of truth. On the desert road out the school, they look out the sky, blue sky that stretched out over the road long school. I long for that. Oh, you're going to fall down. I simply didn't understand the point of continuity to breath. Living every day as a non-entity is something like walking on the icy road. In bare feet at first it's scary, but soon enough your nerves are paralyzed. You'll feel nothing at all. A good while later, when you realize this might be pretty bad, it's already far too late. There's no way to go from here. There's nothing to be done. You live every day of your life frozen to the ground, choking on bitter cold air. Might as well just die then. With that thought in mind, I began to head out to the road during the heavy recess period. Out there, the only thing separate this world from the next was waist-high steel fence. Some days I will cross over that fence and become free. Some days I will escape to nothingness. Comforted by those thoughts, I wait patiently for the right timing. I waited for someone, God for whoever else to send a sign for me. I do wrap up my arms around my knees and sit, telling myself maybe today will be a day. Maybe today the class will be part of for the day. Alright, a voice of a woman will say, "Come, it's time." I will stay constantly at the trains buried the past station, wonder if the sign might flash as past in the window of carriage. But instead, I just sat by myself on that roof. No matter how long and patiently I waited, I never saw any signal. Nobody's whispered the words into my ears. In the end, I was all alone, just like I was else. Everywhere else, every place was the same to me. I was in the corner of the room where I'd been beaten terribly. I was deep at the bottom of the sea, where no light could reach me. I was at the end of the world, surrounded on all sides by silent wall of stones. God myself be busy with something else, otherwise why would he fly over to me and speak the words? One day when I went to the roof, I found a girl who had just sat in that moment crossed over a fence. She was standing boldly on the very edge of the building, staring straight ahead. A woman! I think that is maybe the best friend that she's mentioned. And when I saw her, one powerful thought filled my mind. That's not fair. After all my anguish, eternal debates, all my suffering, all my ways, I couldn't get myself over that fence. What did this girl get to make her soul look easy? That girl was going to kill herself. She was going to leap off her roof, fall onto the concrete below, and end her life. It was obvious enough from the way she stood there, staring into the border between roof and sky, arm outstretched out like a wing to catch the wind. Seems almost to be enjoying herself. It wasn't that sort of pose you could make if you care about your life. Anyway, what was the affair? Why did she get to die when I had to live? I didn't have the idea of who she is, but it was just a fair. I was trying to shout as loud as I could, but what came to my mind was a weak, spiritless sound like rasping of a broken old accordion.
ずるいよ。死んだら嫌だよ。ずるいもん。
It's probably the hour that I wasn't used in conversation, but my voice was just at an hour. The girl quietly stared out at the ground below her, not even noticed my presence behind her. She seemed to be looking for an exact moment to jump. Maybe God had already given her the signal.
ねえ、ずるいってば。ダメなの。嫌なの。
I called her again and again, but she didn't seem to hear. Maybe I no longer even exist in this world. Maybe I just live into sounds and that plane, or is it no longer? I was just speaking to the world through the interdimensional one-way mirror. She ignored me so completely that it seems possible.
ねえ、聞いてよ。聞いてよ。
I called out to her. My voice choked with tears, but even then she didn't turn
そ
around.
うだな。よし、せーのでいくか。うん。せ
せーの。
聞いてよ。
The girl's body went into a spasm of shock. She looked like a white man in his first standing on its head.
危なびっくりした。落ちるとこだった。
Then, at long last, she timidly turns around to face me.
誰？
ねえ、聞いてよ。
なんで泣いてるの？っていうか、いつからいたの？
ずるい。死ぬとかずるい。
Who said I want to die?
ずるい？どういうこと？
My kid's state of face must be the real side. The girl slaved herself over the face and returned to this side. She played the same voice and answered that she was clearly from my school.
あんた、すっごいひどい顔してる。拭いたら？
Yes, I think this is her friend. See that blue thingy on her hand? Yes, the blue thing on her hand. I think she gave it to her to symbol her best friend. Her first friend. She handed me a handkerchief. And I tried my taste nothing like that ever happened to me before. It didn't embarrass me. It made me so sorry. I didn't really know what to do next.
で、何？用？
That was kind of a hard question. Actually, I didn't want her to die. And it's not like I was about to lecture her on treasuring her life or anything. I was just scared by the thought of someone escaping this world while I was still hesitating on the edge.
その、
何？
The girl watches me as he observes some rare species of animal. I didn't have the first idea where to begin or how to explain myself. So after thinking over for quite some time, I chose the simplest option.
はじめまして。松島みちるです。
このタイミングで挨拶？しかもそれだけ？終わり？それを言うためだけに？
Screw her after all, huh? Yes, I can't even manage a normal conversation anymore. The thoughts made me get annoyed. Like, I couldn't find my usual numb indifference. It feels like a harsh reminder that I didn't belong this way any longer. Watching I slammed my shoulders intensely, the girls burst into laughter, and although I didn't have any real evidence either way, I didn't feel like she was mocking me. It was really happy laughter, the sort of laughter I had heard a long time ago.
何それ？あなた変な人ね。
I wasn't sure what to do, so I just stood there quietly as she laughed and laughed. Michiru, don't tell me you killed your own friend. But no matter how impatiently I waited, she would just stop. Much of the opposite. After a while, she threw herself onto the ground and began to throw down her rose amusement even louder than before.
おかしい。変なの。怖かった。すっごい怖かった。何事かと思った。っていうか死ぬかと思った。
Watching her rolling around like that, I started getting in a kind of silly moment myself. The moment I noticed that giggly slip out of my mouth, the dance seems to break. I began to laugh so loudly, I surprised myself.
笑ってる。何それ。
何それ? The two of us laughed for a very long time, long enough that the color of the sky was changed above us. Long enough as I could almost believe whole section in sky. When her laugh, the girl rose a bit more and clutched her belly. She only fought for a few months together, but at first I only managed to feel high pitch in the hiccup.
死ぬ気なくなっちゃったなこれ。
So that was all about the guy that we planning to die. I knew that much from the start, but when she came out and said so bluntly, I was still slightly taken aback.
バカらしい。ああ笑えた。こうなるとあなた命の恩人だね。私の
命の
でしょ？うん。ありがとう。
I didn't deserve to be thanked by anyone. Why was she saying this to me?
なんで？
むしろなぜ泣く？よしよし、落ち着け落ち着け。どう？
なんで？
The girl wrapped her hands around my neck and drew me closer after repatting my head. She hugged me tightly against her.
あなたは本当に変な子だね。でもそういう子嫌いじゃないぞ。とか言ったりしてな。
The chest has a straight, milky odor. I never spent any girl's bodies like this before. I didn't know what to do. About anything. It was all too much. My mind just couldn't keep up.
そうだな。友達になろうか。うん、友達になろう。何しろ命の恩人だもんね。これはもう親友だな、むしろ。そうだよ、親友だよ。親友じゃん。
Let me guess. Michiru did something to her and then she tried to suicide again.
親友？
よろしくね、親友。
よろしくお願いします。
Hey girl, what's your name? Introduce me to yourself. I convinced myself there was no place for me in this world, but when I felt her life was pulsing in her chest, I found myself able to breathe easily again. She smelled sweet and her body was warm and soft. I couldn't remember the last time I'd been so close to another person. Contact with other people, I always been so scared, and this really was scary to be honest, but at the same time, how can I put it more than anything else? It felt like somebody was gently taking my heart. I think this girl will do something to Michiru later. I think she healed her. Nah, never mind about that. Let's see what happened. I returned home that as if I've been reborn, probably because of my unusual cheerful expression. My parents struck up a conversation with me for the first time in a while. I wasn't able to explain very well, but I did tell them I got to know somebody at school. I didn't say I made a friend, let alone be a best friend. After all, there was still a chance it had all been delusion on my part. Maybe tomorrow everything would be right back to where it was. That would be way too sad, right? Better not to get my hopes up. My parents said, I see, good for you. Mixed emotion on their face, not that it bothered me much. Then I ate my dinner slightly earlier than usual and slipped to bed slightly before my normal time. For once, I actually want tomorrow to arrive a little faster. But in the school next day, I found everything was saying it wasn't like I had changed after all. I was still myself. Nobody in my class ever tried to call me. That morning, I thought I might be able to keep a bit of satisfied. But yeah, my choice was gloomier than ever. Maybe that guy I made the day before was a sign from God. A little cause me mentally to keep me from killing myself at the wrong time. Could I have just said from the start? Then I nearly misunderstood. Nearly I thought I found somewhere so I belonged. Nearly thought it was okay for me to live. Nearly started to thinking like a normal person. That was a close one. I almost forgot why my tutors taught me so truthfully. Yes, they had to be. I didn't have the best friend. That was all the day. Dreams are worth it, are they? You end up feeling really tired when you wake up. I just cried soon for my sake before anyone else really on the day. For now, I just wanted to get out of that place. But the route I had become friends, so I couldn't go back there. I wanted to go run away, but I couldn't figure out a way to go. All I knew was I didn't want to be where I was. When I started off at the door and dashed out into the hallway, there was a hushed time and everything went black for a moment. In my case, I do run headlong from someone.
ごめんなさい。
Somehow, squeezed out of what I turned to run, but before I could take another step, someone probably seized me back. I really dropped my back and shield my head against the blow that would follow. This was a deeply ingrained habit from my childhood. When the tutor hits my head strongly, the nurse said this in the flu of sometimes lasts for long. If nothing else, I wanted to avoid that. But that violence I feared didn't arrive. On the contrary, I kept the bend down and picked out the bag I threw on the ground. What?
相変わらず変な人だね、松島みちる。
It was the first time in a while somebody had bothered to call me that. A silly thought flashed into my head. Oh, so that's what my name sounds like.
ねえ、お腹空いたからどむんない？おごるから。
どなる？
In front of my eyes was the girl from my dream. I was definitely awake, but somehow I was dreaming.
断ったりしないよね。親友だもんね。この後何か用事でもあるの？
I couldn't get myself to speak properly, so I shook my head because if I left to lie, no, not at all. And I kept on doing it until the last girl reached out and caught my cheeks in her hands to hold me still.
わかったわかった。それじゃあ行こう。お腹空いちゃった。
She led me and my hands for the first time in my life. I entered the so-called fast food restaurant. The complicated menu of colorful photographs left me like I didn't have the first idea how to order. After stewing confusion and panic, I tucked her on the hood.
あなた、本当にこういうところ初めてなの？
I quietly nodded my head. She just watched me for a moment, then laughed in amusement. A little later, a small tray sat on our surprisingly cramped little table bearing the hamburger and fries girl ordered me. It felt like she was really close, eating a meal with my face so near to someone else, making kind of nervous. I couldn't feel my stomach churning. Why was I gonna do if I threw up?
あなた、隣のクラスだったんだね。こんなに面白い子がいるなんて全然知らなかった。
これ写真と全然違う。ぺったんこ。
ハンバーガー本当に面白いね。
うん。え、面白い？
うん、面白い。そうだ、あなたクラスメートに何て呼ばれてるか知ってる？
私、何か言われてるの？
そう、言われてる。しかも悪口。幽霊って呼ばれてんの。笑っちゃうでしょ？なんでよって思ったから、そんなこと言うのよしなさいって言っておいたわよ。
She chatted happily on swinging flying and forth. I had no idea how to respond. I mean, I was surprised to know they bothered to bet on me, but I was even more shocked she told them to stop. Why was this person being so nice to me?
しかもあなたお嬢らしいじゃん。だからってファーストフード初めてってちょっと浮世離れしすぎじゃない？
お嬢？
そう、お嬢。ところでさ、携帯ある？赤外線やろうよ、赤外線。わかった。それは今度にしよう。ひとまず今日は食べなさい食べなさい。ここは私のおごりだから、そのぺったんこたーんとお食べ。どうせ私にはこれぐらいしかおごれないんだし。
I picked out the reasonable flat little hamburger from his bag of wrapping paper and took a large bite. To my surprise, the strong and vibrant flavor instantly filled my mouth. It might not have been really anything like the photo, but it actually tastes really good.
どうだ、おいしいじゃろ？
おいしい。
なんで泣いてんの？謎なんだけど。おいしくて泣いてんの？それは大げさでしょ。ゾウさんも大喜びだな、こりゃ。
The girl's private was kind. I couldn't stop crying. Not surprising, she looked a little astonished, but even so, she laughed. No matter what I did, she laughed. After that, she started coming by every day after school, inviting me along all sorts of different places. I guess she must have found my complete cluelessness kind of entertaining. One day it was karaoke, the next is arcade, the day after something else entirely. I got to see a lot of new places and experience a lot of new things.
ねえねえ、ここに書いてある初プリって何？
She was a girl who laughed a lot, and the places I went were always glittering with vivid randoms of light. When I went back down after we said goodbye, my room still stared and dismayed by comparison. It was like falling to a broken down monochrome world. More and more I spent my time patiently counting down the hours until our next outing, wishing she'd swoop down and take me out there. I remember getting on the train at Stone Station I had never missed before and buying matching pants supposedly. The store I never noticed this. After anguishing my choice for a dozen minutes, I bought her a small headband as a present, got pouch in return. We traded hands, scrutiny, and ate ice cream together. The day rolled like one unbroken dream. When even at 7.4 I recorded my cell phone. I was too scared to send a message or dial numbers, but some other reason just looking at those characters on the screen would bring a smile to my face. One day, the two of us were on the other side of school, against the leisure at the sunset, so the girl spoke to me in a quiet voice as his wind blew through her hair.
みちるは聞いてこないよね。
何が？
どうして飛び降りようとしてたかってこと。
She was always smiling, so I was taken aback to see her look at it so serious all of a sudden. And more importantly, that completely unexpected question left me throatlessly flustered.
だって死にたかったんでしょ？それが全てじゃない。それ以上何を聞くの？
そりゃそうだね。飛び降りの理由なんてそれしかないもんね。
そうかな。そんなことないけど。
私はね、いろいろな人にいろいろなことを聞かれるんだ。進路がどう、彼氏がどう、バイトがどう、手の傷がどう、もうよくわかんないよ。もっとシンプルな世界で生きていたいと思う。
I didn't really understand what she was trying to say, so I listened very carefully. I thought, oh, that if I listen carefully now, I'll be able to pick up at least a little.
結局さ、人間って一人だよね。私のことを心から大事にしてくれる人なんてどこにもいないんだ。最後にはみんな消えていくよね。
I wanted to say it wasn't true, but I couldn't manage it.
嫌われたくないなあ。だったら先に私から嫌ってやりたい。 私から先に消えてしまいたいなんてね。ああ、ごめんね。行かなきゃ。
いってらっしゃい。
みちる、
何？
好きだよ。
Because when she playfully pretends to kiss me on the cheek, my face realizes a lost day in my mare's face. Ah.
冗談。またね。
Even the sun was just sinking below the others as she laughed. Still laughing, I just stood there like a wire darkness still roof on the rooftop. Except for what's everything, I didn't like it. Every time she would call on someone, she'd be quiet, subdued for a long time to her smile looked forced. I was worried somebody might be doing a cruel thing to her, but I was able to ask. Sometimes I noticed nasty bruise on her arms and legs, even her face, every once in a while. She always just laughed it out. It's okay, I'm fine. Why did the music stop? I knew it wasn't okay at all. But I was afraid that asking her something would pop the bubble, destroy what we had, so I kept quiet. Even then, I knew I was being coward. She had pulled me out from the bottom of the sea. Should I return the favor and take her hand, like she did for me? The question tormented me for a very long time. But there was no way I could do what she had done. I was still a piece of trash. It was only thanks to her that I was good levelly. It was only thanks to her that I had found a little happiness. I could have allowed myself to understand. It was a temporary world, a dream I wake up from eventually. Lingering along the road, I gripped the cold metal hardly tightly. I still didn't have the courage to make the short journey to the other side of the fence. For a few days after answering that phone call, my friend didn't attend school. What? I was afraid such a bad might happen to her. Just like when I was a child, I need to my voice whisper countless prayers.
神様、どうか守ってあげてください。今まで通り、彼女が笑っていられるようにしてください。
I sky was hesitating in my class at the end of the day, thinking she might be appearing in the doorway like always to drag me off to play. But I was a ghost in that class. I didn't dare to make myself conspicuous. I reluctantly trounced out to the door and waited for her, but no matter how patiently I waited, she never came. There was nothing but the steady passage of time. I did nothing but drop it in a monochrome world. One day somebody called my cell phone for a weird moment. I was scared to pick it up, but thinking it's just my number. I gathered that I had a chance that I could master and press the answer button.
もしもし。
On the other side of the line, I heard someone was really harshly, as if in pain. Maybe it was nothing more than a random prank call for a stranger. But in my mind, I saw her on the other end, the person I care about more than anyone else in the world. And I remember her words on that rooftop that day. I mean, when you get right down to it, we are all alone, right? It's not like everybody really cares about me from the bottom of their hearts. Everyone disappeared in the end. Don't want to be hated, so I hate first. Before they can leave me, I want to despair or whatever. Back then, I was able to give her a proper response. I left so many things unsaid. I decided to convey those feelings to whoever this might be. No, don't!
どうして一人だなんて思うの？ちゃんとあなたのこと友達だって思って大切にしてる人がいるよ。それなのにどうして一人でどこかに行こうとするの？あなたは置いていかれるのがどんなに辛いか分かってないんだ。だから勝手にどこかに行こうとしちゃうんだ。失うことは当たり前だよ。誰かに嫌われることだって特別なことじゃない。私、あなたのこと大好きだよ。だからどこにも行かないで。もしあなたが自分のことを不幸せだと思うなら、これから幸せになろう。ここに戻ってきて、これからまた一緒に生きよう。
For some reason, I hung out without a single word. First, I thought I better left, and I squeezed myself up tightly in my hand. What? Even now, I don't know who called me that day. Why you say like that? The next time I saw my friend was more than 2 weeks later. By the point it was in the class, I had become unbearably agonizing. I was spending the entire day on the roof, waiting for her. And one day, completely out of the blue, she appeared before me once again. Oh my god! Sorry, Michiru. I want to die this time. I couldn't say a word. There was a trace of the mind of the girls who I've always beloved, so I played. Her school uniform was tattered and torn. Her hair looked like Abby hanging at a knife. A knife. Her face, too, was full of bruises. Numberless wounds as cruel as anything the tutors had played on me were openly visible, even the most conspicuous face. Something terrible must have happened. Something so terrible I didn't want to imagine it, and it must have laid a horribly long line. Just like that, there were tears in my eyes. Her friends, huh? God didn't protect her. I couldn't protect her.
大丈夫。これは私が望んだことだから。彼に捨てられたくなくてしたことだから。
Let me guess, him is your boyfriend? I don't ask the question, but she answered it anyway. Those clear, vague words were enough for me to understand what had really happened to her. But I knew she was lying. I knew many sad, horrible things might have happened. Things she probably has wanted to happen. I slowly approached her and then wrapped my arms around her terrible. It surprised even me. I hadn't expected myself to do any such thing.
ありがとう。ミッチェルは優しいね。
そんなことない。
そんなことあるよ。あなたは優しい子だよ。ねえ、噂は聞いてるでしょ？あれってその通りなんだ。まったくバカだと思うよ。笑っていいよ。
What do you mean, rumors? In the classroom, my friend has become a subject of rumors. My classmate said she got to know a man decades older than her over the internet. A man with wife and children. They say he treated her like his mistress. They say somebody about the photos of her and that man's getting scattered around the internet. They say he done terrible things to her. But none of it mattered to me. No matter what had happened, it didn't change the fact that she was my best friend.
バカじゃないよ。私はバカだけど。
そうだね。こんな私と仲良くしてくれるなんてバカかもね。
そんなことないもん。
私学校で嫌われてるんだ。友達もいないの。でもね、誰も相手にしてくれないからあなたと友達になったわけじゃないからね。
Oh yeah, confession time.
あなたのことがいいなって思ったから友達になったんだからね。それだけは本当。でも信じてくれないよね。こんな私だもんね。
I want to say, of course I know that. My voice failed me as I thought a chunk of cardboard had wedged itself in my throat. I couldn't force it out even a tiny squeak.
私はミチルのことを親友だってちゃんと思ってる。ごめんね。こんなに汚れた友達で。こんなんで本当にごめんね。
I wanted to tell her that she wasn't filthy, but I couldn't say well. All I could do was hug her tightly.
私、彼のことが好き。彼がしろって言えば、どんなことでもした。奥さんと別れてくれるなんて、そんなの最初から嘘だって分かってた。
もういいよ。話さなくていい。大丈夫だよ。
殴られても平気だった。何回でも頑張った。でももう限界。だってあの人はもう私のこと好きじゃないから。
She gave me another pretend kiss on my cheek. I closed my and her eyes returned against her, watching me. She smiled just a little. Scraps on her uniform danced in the winds like feathers falling from the wings of the birds. She put her hands on the fence and swung herself gracefully over to the other side.
ミチル、もう私限界。あの人が私に興味のない世界になんて、あの人が存在しない世界になんていたくない。
Standing in the border between the road and the sky, standing on the nest, lying on that divided the wall from the nest. She spoke to me a single thought to me as but through my days. It's just like the first time we met.
先に行くね。
I wanted to say, I'll come with you. You're not the only one, so you know I'm not interested in the world without you in it. So if you're going to leave, I'm coming along. Just don't leave me behind. Don't leave me here. I wanted to tell her that you joked that you loved me once, but I really do love you. That's the reason I'm still alive today. I wanted her to know, but I couldn't speak or move. My body felt like it was encased in concrete. I couldn't lift a single finger.
さよなら、みちる。
Bye. Eh? I want to say the words. We are best friends, are we? Let's die together. But it's too late. But instead, I was just watching in silence like a complete idiot. See, I was right. I'm the stupid one after all. You should give me the scene. I want to watch. I didn't know what to do. I just cowered and then I tried to scramble over the rail to see her to see the end. But I couldn't do it. No matter what, I couldn't get myself over the fence. I could feel my feet giving way under my knee. I couldn't keep myself upright. Why had I died with her? I was right from the very side. There was never place for me here. Screw up big time this time, didn't I? Should have let myself think I could become a normal person. Should have thought I could find something like happiness. In the end, it was vanished. The bubble pops. In that case, it would be better never to have gotten my hopes out in the first place. This time I better stop expecting anything from me. I should start expecting anything from the world. I heard the waves of the silence, the chorus of a horrified scream from far away, and then I fainted. My brother stayed quickly awkwardly down the fence. Just before I lost consciousness, I heard a sound, that click of the television set falling silent. I don't know if it was a hallucination or not, but I heard it clearly. When I woke up, I was lying in the hospital bed. It seems I'd been unconscious for quite a long time. Normally, there should be a police waiting at my bed to question me, but Dad took care of all of that. Probably that's out of concern for me that out of his desire to keep this troublesome situation from dragging on. I thought they discharged me soon enough, but I discovered that my chronic chest pain has grown dramatic more intense. My mother is no longer physically capable or enduring a normal life. Doctors say the shock of losing a close friend may have advanced the progresses of the disease, but I didn't really know if that was true. In a way, the pain in my heart was now so agonizing it could at times render me unconscious. My parents had more or less abandoned me, but I guess there's this visible man managed to move them fittingly. They decided to send me to America for a heart transplant operation. Personally, I would have minded just dying, but it seems like those two wanted to feel like caring parents, so I decided I might as well go along with it. Things moved along behind my back. Large amount of money straight hands, but I didn't know the details. I think maybe the transplant, the heart, caused her to get another personality, I guess. They didn't tell me much of anything about the donor, and I was particularly interested in her. All they said that I'd be receiving the heart of a brain-dead girl of the same age as me. I'm sure it must have been really big complicated operation, but since that day on the road, I've been living like an empty task. Can't say it felt like much of an ordeal. They carried me out of the airplane to the place where I could understand what anyone else said. The doctor pushed me under anesthesia, and I fell asleep. Before I knew it, I was right back in Japan. It really did seem to happen in the blink of an eye. I didn't have time to feel much of anything. My procedure apparently went about as smoothly as possible. They pumped me full of immunosuppressants to prevent my body from rejecting the new heart, but I recovered quickly without any side effect. It didn't even feel particularly strange having another person's organs inside my body. Sometimes I almost doubt that whether they really operated on me. Of course, just touching the skull on my chest was enough to convince myself if it be true. But really, what differences did it make either way? The love of flesh inside me constantly thumping away was different from the one that had been in there yesterday. That was all. Nobody was going to change. Nothing important had changed. My doctor celebrated my remarkable recovery from the surgery as a miracle, so interestingly, you might have thought my good fortune was its own way. My parents had relieved expressions on their faces as well, especially that since today now we won't have to worry about ourselves about this girl anymore. The many months I had to spend in the various hospital came to an end, and I began to recuperate at home. That was the first sign of the change began to appear. Let me guess, your other self. I think that pen girl the same age as her. I think that girl, I guess. The girl who died. Apparently, I would say uncharacteristic things to my parents. I was talking and behaving in a way I usually would, almost as if I become a completely different person. My parents were incredulous at first. I suspected some kind of elaborate plan, but as they knew, I wasn't exactly a practical joker by nature. I wasn't conscious aware of any of this. My alternate personality came at the price of gaps in my memories. Maybe I was sleepwalking or turning into a different person without realizing it. My doctor diligently studied my brain activity and asked me all sorts of questions, but in the end, he could only offer a vague conclusion. This phenomena can be explained by modern medicine. Ultimately, the adults decided that the powerful psychological impact of losing a friend in front of my eyes had led to changes in my personality. But I didn't really care either way. I was responding with a disinterested, "Oh, that's all good to hear." The gap in my memory became frequent. As the time passes, they grew longer, harder to ignore. The other me who showed up in these chunks of lost time seemed surprisingly competent. From what I gathered, she was much more sociable than I was, and a lot better at schoolwork as well. One night, I noticed dinner was a little extravagant. Dad smiled across the table and told me that it was a reward for trying so hard at my study language. It was kind of strange to explain, but I didn't really mind. I mean, if things were going smoothly, who cares if I remember doing the things I was being praised for or not? As these patterns continued, I found myself acquiring a number of friends as well. Of course, I got to know that during the blank space in my memory, so I didn't really know what sort of people they are. Without any effort of my part, lots of people began greeting me in a friendly tone on the roads. Schools, I was saying hi, they usually say, "What's wrong? Not feeling good so today?" Seems like they saw the usual me as the sick Michiru, as the person who showed up normally in the period lost time as the normal cheerful Michiru. Sick Michiru, cheerful Michiru.
どうした？具合が悪そうだな。
I was lying down in my room one evening when Dad stopped by to check out on me.
らしくないぞ。いつもの元気な道を見せてごらん。
Not knowing what else to do, I forced a strange smile on my face.
大丈夫。明日には元気になっているさ。今日のお前とはさよならだな。
The sad Michiru is the real one. Pretending, I guess. Smiling, Dad led me and closed the door behind him. And all of a sudden, an image flashed in my head. An image of the girl frozen in flight. It was the girl who left me so abruptly. My best friend, where in this world. A final goodbye echoed inside my head, rebounded off the walls of my skull. The word was trying to be sharp. Every time it clenches against the bone, it felt as though someone was drilling me open from inside. Trembled with fear, I drove to my bed in search of refuge. Greasy sweat broke out on my forehead. I swallowed a few of pills my daughter had prescribed. Pulled the blanket over my head, squeezed my eyes shut. If I can get past this, I will become the cheerful Michiru again. I can't break down again. I started to repeat those words to myself. And soon enough, drowning wraps up in a thick, sticky, good blanket, and finally I'd be able to sleep. I pulled through all after all. It was just a thought running hazily through my mind, just as I stood on the border between the light and engine when I heard an unfamiliar voice from outside my blanket.
大丈夫だよ。安心して。心配しなくていいんだよ。
That's the moment of awakening. I didn't understand the slightest how this was supposed to be alright. Hearing the voice from the strange woman as I tried to fall asleep really didn't seem to qualify.
私が君の弱さを引き受けてあげる。これからずっと一緒なんだから。うん。親友だろ？
Yep. The instant I heard those voices, I felt how my heart pounded violently. A sharp white hot pain spread from my chest, throughout my entire body as it traveled through my blood vessels.
親友なんて言わないで。私の親友は一人しかいない。一人しかいらない。
Which already died. I remember the doctor offhand mentioned the phenomenon also known as cellular memory. In rare cases, patients receive hard transplant as seems inherent aspect of the previous ordinances or memories. I just pressed right. No, this was anything so minor. Oh, the former owner's entirely personality has lived inside me, completely and distinct from my own, and now she was talking to me, declaring herself my best friend. I was about to pull out with that. Now the best friend was the last thing I wanted.
あなたなんて大嫌い！勝手なこと言わないで！
Throwing out of the covers, my palms pounding in the fears of my own bodies, I shouted at the disembodied voices.
大丈夫だよ。私が助けてあげるから。助けてなんて欲しくない！私を助けられるのはあの子だけなの！
I couldn't even tell if this was reality or some instant nightmare. My terror escalated into frenzy. I ripped out clumsy on my own hands. With my own side, I kicked things all over my body until my face bleed. When it wasn't enough, I grabbed a box cutter from my desk, grabbed it tightly in my hand, and listened carefully, trying to figure out where the voice coming from. The voice was the cause of this pain. It flowed through my body with the blood jumping out of my heart, bringing agony with it. I had to get that voice out of my body. Oh! What? With that thought, I cut my wrist with a blade, tried to drain the voice out of me along with my blood. But no matter how my arm bleed, the voice remained securely inside my body. Because we are already together. In that case, I had no choice. I need to upgrade it. I need to get rid of that foreign entity pulsing away inside me. I pointed the blade at my own chest and stabbed as hard as I could. What? It wasn't the sharpest blade, but it broke the skin easily through. Slowly it gouged its way through my flesh. Just a little further, I do reach my heart. The invasion will be over soon. I'll be rid of the voice. I feel relief washing over me, but just then, I smelled the distinctive mixture of cigarette and the strange woman, and realized my father had entered the room.
どうしたミチルなぜだ
You married with other women, what the freak, man? Because I knew in my room I became a disaster scene. The shattered and torn remains of my belongings stained red, dark red with splashes of fresh blood. The boss cut fell from my hand and hit the ground with a dull tongue. The sound around it brought me back to reality. My fat dad's familiar face was so contorted that he looked at me like a different entire place. I had to smile. I had to reassure him. But different words came out of my mouth.
ねえパパ、私壊れちゃったの。
That house because it was the first time in my many years, but it was very different from that girl's embrace. Even though he was holding me close, I could feel a vast chance of longing between us. And you back to hospital. That very night I was admitted to a new hospital, not that I had any choices in this matter. It was very quiet there. All the very shift went tranquil as a day. Sometimes I thought I don't wander into some forgotten corner of the afterlife. There were times where I found their constant, unchanging smile frightened, but I got the idea soon. Basically, it was a place where you could live without getting tangled up in your emotions. You could pass the time peacefully thinking about nice things. To put the opposite spin on it is that in that place, you were allowed to think about anything else. The medicine they gave me that made my fate feel pleasantly clear. My other personalities start emerging entirely. What? It was like living a tightly closed music box, boring but very peaceful. I stayed there for a long time. I didn't talk to anyone. For most part of it, I just stood quietly by the wall, trying not to stand out, trying to shrink myself down to the point where the wall would overlook me. But one day I tripped on the leg of a chair and fell to the ground. That had never happened before, so I wasn't sure what to do. Fortunately, no one stopped me or yelled angry. Instead, a few patients nearby put their hands to their mouths and giggled softly in amusement. I liked hearing that sound, and lying on the ground, an idea occurred to me. Maybe I fell on the purpose I could make people laugh again. Then I tripped again, the people who noticed laughed a little. The day after that, I did really spit on the glass. Once more I had spoken, I laughed.
勝手にこぼれるなんて変なコップ。
More people laughed than before. Their voice was warm and gentle. I found a way to make myself useful. By the moment I started to clown around, I could at least make other people smile. From that day on, I added on a sillier version of myself, an exaggerated funny caricature of me, and I sustained myself on a sugary sweet diet of laughter. Alrighty then, from now on I do go in this way of life. The pretend it didn't bother me. It was worth it to do something for the other people. It was worth to have something to live for. Nobody had appreciated me before because I wanted them to like the real me. Problem was, the real me wasn't good, so I might as well just pretend. All I had to do was act out of the most convenient role and force out the most convenient emotions, become someone who put a smile on people's face. Even if that meant the real me disappeared entirely, I didn't care. I was a little anxious about whether someone as stupid as me could even act convincingly, but I had no choice but to try. Motivation I gained a niche as a weird but funny girl. As I grew to grow, I became more lively. In the time the doctors decided I was on the way to full recovery and politely ejected me from the hospital. I lost my place in the world, but my parents still found me another. Apparently, there is somewhere or other, but this special school that only gathers students with complicated circumstances. I was enrolled in very soon after my return. I kept right on playing the class in this school, and I thought it would be nice to keep everyone laughing. And in fact, that's just how things turns out. The role passed pleasant enough for the most part. But every once in a while, I remember that this too was nothing but artificial make-believe role. When everyone laughed together, I was a smile from the heart, and over the time, my uncertainty grew. I didn't want to lose what I found here, but I didn't want to grow dependent on it. The more I pretended to be someone I wasn't, the less I understood what I wanted to do. Do any imposter like me really belong here in the first place? I felt I was living in an anti-liar pit. There was nowhere else for me to go. No way out of the route. All I could do was struggle not to fall.
それが私なの。
Well, that was not that too long compared to Yumiko. Yumiko is freaking long. Maybe this one short, but the climax is quite long. Having delivered her length is shorter in one until after city, Michiru finally paused her face lined with fetish.
薬で自分の知らない自分を抑えて人の顔色を伺って生きているのが私。そんな私を抱いてくれてありがとう。ごっこでも恋人のふりでもしてくれてありがとう。私幸せなのかもって勘違いしそうになっちゃったけど、全部嘘だって分かってるし大丈夫。ユージに抱きしめてもらってる時、キスしてもらってる時、今が終わらなければいいのにってずっと考えてた。でも終わっちゃうんだよね。いつかは離れちゃう。怖いね、それって。
Scratching my head, I search for the words Michiru needs to hear. They prove surprisingly easy to find. What you need right now isn't this fatalistic pessimism. It's medical treatment. Your problem's too complex to face on your own. Go to the hospital and have the professionals diagnose you. Then work slowly and surely towards getting better. I can understand the general outline of the situation. The memories of her organ donor have influenced Michiru's mind, or so she thinks at least. It's not a common phenomenon, but apparently it's not entirely unprecedented either. Whatever the case may be, what the girl needs is appropriate treatment in an appropriate setting.
うん。どうしても病院に行かなくちゃダメ。
Yes. I strongly recommend it. I doubt they will keep you there longer than a week for an examination like this, and I'm worried about you.
心配か。本当なら嬉しいな。
Why would I lie? I didn't dislike that make-believe game of yours. I probably could find another way to occupy myself, but spending the time with you was, well, enjoyable.
本当に
I'm not lying. How many times do you want to make me say the same exact thing?
ごめんなさい。だって私といて愉快って思ってくれるなんて嬉しくて。
I don't want you to disappear on me, Michiru. I'll find that unpleasant.
困る？どうして？
This is seriously the last time I'm going to repeat myself because the time I spent time with you wasn't half bad.
うん。
I take Michiru by the shoulders and look her straight in the eyes. You are living in the present, Michiru. Don't let yourself get caught up in the past. You can't face it. What's done can be undone, but the future still is yours to shape. Incredibly obvious, yes, but it doesn't hurt to keep that in mind. Right now, your future is on the line. You need to take control of it. Just like Michiru's meeting on the list, she turns down her face embarrassment and hesitates for a moment, studying the floors as they decide which one to pick up from the ground.
ありがとう、ユージ。
In the end, she chose a simple one. It's really simple, but not half bad. A pretty respectable choice, actually.
ユージがそう言うなら明日にでも検査に行く。早い方がいいでしょ。
Don't you run away. Through the arrangement with the hospitals to me, I'll get something worked
あ
out.
りがとう。ごめんね、迷惑かけて。
You're not a nuisance, but if you're feeling guilty anyway, you can show me your gratitude once you're feeling better.
エッチなことで。
No, don't be an idiot.
冗談。ねえ、できれば明日の朝早くにここを出て病院に行きたい。
I don't mind, but why?
他の子に見られたら恥ずかしいじゃない。だからそれだけ。5時でお願いします。
Sure, not a problem. For now, you should get some rest.
うん、わかった。ねえユージ、私好きなんて言わないんだからね。
She didn't resist that in such a subdued, quavery tones of voice that I can't help but laugh. Yeah, I got it alright, and I'll see you tomorrow.
またね。
Oh, well, looks like I'm going to end up in debt to Chizuru yet again. I spent my walk to the principal story dominating on Michiru's story. Her tales seem fragmentary and the plot tangled. This cipher is going to be difficult. Might even turn out to be one of those books you can spend a lifetime on without even finding a conclusive interpretation. Nevertheless, I decided to keep turning the pages. Why? Because it feels like the things to do. Simple as that. After we parted yesterday, Michiru slept soundly through the night. Sharing the burden she carried in secret for so long, even momentarily, must have brought her some relief. I explained the situation to Caesar and had arranged for an investigation to stay in a nearby hospital. Of course, it's about enduring a great deal of sarcasm as snipping, but our principal was about to refuse to have a student in need of medical attention. I can't say whether she was moved, but more by pursuit of passion or a professional concern for responsibility, but I suppose it's hardly matter. Early the next morning, I prepared to sleep off Michiru. Normally, I'd be pulling on my sweat and heads out for a run right about now, but today I'm skipping that. And the society routine is only meaningful when you follow it faithfully. There's no point in doing that all if you take day off. I understand that some things are more important than the training schedule. Some things can withstand the day neglect, others can be lost in heartbeat. Because I can be to accurately identify the difference, prioritize them properly is absolutely crucial. I asked upstairs to Michiru's room and knocked lightly on the door, but that's not as she most likely is preparing for departure. It's generally understood that women take time to get themselves ready to go anywhere. Decided it's best not to rush the girl. I patiently standing by the front of her room for some time. When I decided that we need to get going, I called out name. Michiru. But again, there's no response. I suppose early for her. Maybe she's still sleeping. Michiru, everything alright in there? At last, there's a quiet answer from inside the room.
もう何回か名前呼んで。そしたら行く。
Strike me as a bit of strange because I obey. Michiru. After the meeting, I never noticed I had not imagined sound from within. A moment later, Michiru eased open the door, dragging along a smoking stick and a wall of bricks. The girls wearing strangely dressed in clothes. What's with the outfit?
どうしたってどうもしてないよ。だって会えなくなるから最後は可愛い服で会いたい。
Sure, but you only go for a week or so, right? You'll be back soon enough. What's the point?
だからユージは女心が分かってないって言われるのよ。
Oh, who's this?
榊だ。
Sakaki, huh?
なんだか寂しいな。
Michiru's pulse a little, a clear shadows of melancholy in her eyes. Seeing her this attitude, I feel a twitch of reluctance myself. Maybe the girls could stay. My help might be enough to pull her through the worst of all.
どうしたの？怖い顔して。
Well. Ah, no! What the frig is this? I cannot believe the choices is right now.
セーブするわ。
Well, I guess we are going to end right here, right now. So, as always, thank you for watching my video. My new video are just for fun. Don't take heart, brothers and sisters, okay? Are you sure this is the climax already? I'm not seriously thinking. Let's say the magic word. Adios and famosa.